Hi everyone, it's Dan here from We Drone, and today I want to talk about gimbal settings on the DJI Mavic Air 2. Yes, like this little wheel here, when you control this, it will control the camera going up and down. And why is it good to know? If you want to work on creating smoother, more cinematic footage, it's important to know what the controls can do for you, how you can quickly switch between them, and also what each of the settings actually do. I'll explain what upward gimbal rotation does, what pitch speed and pitch smoothness is for, and also yaw rotation and yaw smoothness. Wow, that's a mouthful. And I'll also share a little trick that I discovered for myself on how to use the settings and quickly switch between them. So stick to the end if you want to learn how to make the most out of your battery given flight time. If you're interested in drone stuff whatsoever, consider clicking the little red button down below. It might make your life better and it will help out the channel. Now let's talk about gimbal settings for the DJI Mavic Air 2. Okay, the first thing is the upwards gimbal rotation angle. Now I don't really see a reason to ever turn that off, so I always leave it on. It just makes it a little bit easier to create smooth cinematic reveal shots, just because you have a little bit more wiggle room when you rotate the gimbal upwards. And also the way the DJI Mavic Air 2 is constructed, even if you go to the maximum upward angle, you still don't see the propellers. So that's what's actually really cool about this drone. Okay, next let's head over to the advanced setting and take a look at pitch speed and pitch smoothness. Now the pitch speed controls how quickly the gimbal moves up and down when you turn the little wheel on the back of your controller here. Let me show you an example real quick. So this is a super fast setting, which I don't recommend for normal usage, and this is the super slow setting, which is much better for creating smooth cinematic footage. So 1 is obviously the lowest one, and in my opinion a tad bit too slow, while 4 is already too fast. So in my opinion 2 or 3 may just be the setting that you want. I highly recommend to just put your drone down on a desk and just play with the settings in those lower ranges and see what really works for you, and you'll be able to tell that 2 and 3 are actually significantly different, so you don't even need to go much higher than that. So, and the smoothness controls how much longer the gimbal keeps moving and then slowly stopping after you let go of the wheel. Usually having a rather high setting here, I think really helps with just creating smooth cinematic footage and not doing a reveal shot that all of a sudden just abruptly stops. So I would generally have this on 20 or even 30. Now let's go down to yaw. It's basically the same thing as pitch, but for the horizontal movement of the drone, aka rotation, aka left and right turn, whatever you want to call it. This graphic on Wikipedia actually explains it best. So basically if you turn your drone left or right and you want to do like a pan shot. So let me show you the differences real quick. So this is yaw on the fastest setting, and I think it's completely useless in most cases. And then the yaw smoothness is basically the same as the pitch smoothness. It basically determines how long the drone is gonna keep rotating in the direction that you pressed the stick in, whatever you have your control set to, after you let go. And finally, the trick that I mentioned in the beginning of the video, where you can use this little slider here to really get the most out of your battery time. If you scroll down on the settings here, then you can see that you can reconfigure the same settings for each one of those modes. So you have normal, sport, and on the controller it's tripod, and here in the app it is called Sinus Moves. What I do for Sinus Moves is basically to configure it as smooth as possible. I'll put the settings up here on the screen. For normal, I would basically do the very same thing and maybe increase the pitch speed by just 1, because I mentioned earlier 2 and 3 is, in my opinion, significantly different already. And then for sport mode, I would basically make it as fast and as choppy as possible. And the reason is that once you've completed a shot, you can quickly on your controller switch over to sport mode, and you can quickly rotate the drone, zip over to another location at 45 miles an hour, and then whoop, switch back to tripod or normal mode and make another smooth cinematic reveal shot or whatever it is that you're recording. So that way you can really make the most out of the slider that you have right here as a physical control. You don't have to deal with the buttons and the top right menu and do all of that stuff. You can simply go super smooth, kind of smooth, and change location real quick, and then come back to super smooth. So I think that's a really useful tip. I hope you find this useful too. I have another video coming about camera settings, and there's lots of other drone tutorials on the channel, so consider subscribing if you haven't already. Please share the awesome stuff that you're creating down below in the comments. I would really love to check it out, and I will see you next week.